Wells Fargo has fired over 5,000 bankers for opening accounts for customers without telling them. The CEO, John Stumpf, just spent 2 days on Capitol Hill explaining the fraud to Congress. Now, TheStreet has taken a closer look at the company's financial advisors and found that its brokers may be as bad as its bankers. I'm Jeremy Greenfield, politics and commentary editor at TheStreet, and I'm joined by investigative reporter Susan Antilla, who has the scoop. Susan, tell us, we just found out Wells Fargo bankers have a problem in the honesty and integrity department. What about the brokers?
Well, the brokers have a little problem too, Jeremy. Okay. There were 2 studies done in the spring about where the worst stockbrokers were. And in both of them, something called Wells Fargo Financial Network did very poorly. In one study, they were the 3rd worst firm in terms of having problem brokers.
And out of how many?
There were 100 firms with brokers who had at least 1,000 brokers, and they were the 3rd worst. In the second study, there were 210 firms, and the financial network ranked 16th for what they called investor harm. So really terrible scores.
And this should come as a surprise to many of our viewers because, as people who trade Wells Fargo stock know, the company traffics on having a reputation to put customers first.
Yeah, they've dined out on that reputation. I don't know why people believe it because the numbers show something different. They say things like, we've never lost sight of putting our customers first. They have 6 important goals for the company, and the number one thing is having the customer come first. So, and people read this stuff and I guess they believe it.
Well, what I found most outrageous when editing this article was when Wells Fargo has a complaint against a broker, it fights so vigorously to defend the broker, even if it's obvious that the broker is at fault.
Right, and there was one case where a customer had sued them in FINRA arbitration. The customer said that the broker told him the investment was, quote, safe. And Wells Fargo's answer was, it doesn't matter that the broker says that because safe is just an opinion. You can't prove it, you can't disprove it. It doesn't mean anything.
So I guess the lesson here is don't believe what Wells Fargo tells you, and definitely always read the fine print.
You've got to read the fine print. I know it's not easy, but it's important.
Thank you so much for coming here, Susan.
Thanks, Jeremy.
For TheStreet, I'm Jeremy Greenfield. Thanks for watching.